I want to just share a little video about how we can keep the power in our hands even in a worst case scenario. I'm talking about the vaccine situation. Let's say the worst case scenario is the military or the forces have basically just gone nuts in your area, and you're either going to get arrested or you're going to get really manhandled and you're with your family or whatever unless you get a vaccine, right? Just let's say that's a worst case scenario. Don't put any energy down that road, but there's a reason I'm sharing this video. When we look at people like Wim Hof has openly come out and said, you can give me COVID-19, I'll get rid of it in 15 minutes, okay? We need more people thinking this way. It's very important. He did a scientific study 7 years ago where he got injected with an endotoxin, an E. coli endotoxin, and he should have, right into his bloodstream, he was wired up, he should have gone into convulsions, vomiting, aches and pains, inflammation, chronic headache. Within 15 minutes he'd fought it off with breathing techniques, okay? With his breathing technique, because he can dramatically increase his cortisol, adrenaline, and they basically dump it out the system. Not only that, he then got a case study of 19 people who didn't know him and got 10 days to train them to do the same. And he trained them in 4 days, and every single one of them fought off the same endotoxin in 15 minutes. There's a research that Greg Braden talks about where our body's always getting rid of toxicity through our sweat, our breath, our wee, our poo. And he said, but if you have a trauma in your life, the toxicity from the stress stays in some of the vital organs in the body. It can stay there your whole life until it's resolved emotionally, till you've actually healed it. It will stay there. And once it's healed, it will release. Okay, this goes in hand with traditional Chinese medicine because each of the organs is linked to one of the 5 elements and balanced or unbalanced emotions. But what's cool about this is another way of getting rid of these toxins in the body from trauma is through breath work. When you flood the body with oxygen, and look what Wim Hof's method does. Every time you do one round and you hold with no air, and then you take a deep breath in and you squeeze to the top of your head, and then you start again, your oxygen saturation levels increase. You can actually take in more oxygen. So why is this important? Why am I sharing this now? If the worst case scenario comes where you are forced to have a vaccine, right? No fear. I'll tell you now, I will do weekend workshops, right? Where we will load up on spirulina and other different salts and things that will dump heavy metals, and we will breathe it out. I went to see Wim Hof. There was 750 people, and we did like 25 rounds of the breathing. You know, we're talking about flooding the body with oxygen, releases emotions. There was big meatheads there, jiu-jitsu boys and all the rest of it, sobbing like babies, crying their eyes. I was crying. Incredible experience, okay? Very amazing experience. So many people releasing so much through breath work. If you've got to get a vaccine, give it to me, mate. I'll get rid of it. We need to take the power back, okay? No more fear. No more fear. Go on, give it to me. I'll get rid of it like that. I'll breathe it out. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll get this out my body. We are running on empty anyway. 90%, 85 to 90% of our DNA, scientists call junk DNA. Okay? What's that saying? That nature doesn't waste anything. What that's saying is it's untapped DNA. We are capable of so much more. Do you understand that? We are capable of so much more. They want to inject something that bypasses our natural immune system and goes straight into the bloodstream. My suggestion is don't do it, okay? If it's mandatory, I think we should hit the streets and come together and say, no, we're not going to have it. But the reason for this video is, if it's forced upon you, instead of crying, oh my gosh, he's giving me this, blah, 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 keep your power in your hands. Fucking give it to me. I'll get rid of it. Okay? Power's in our hands. No more fear. No fear, no control. You be a free man. I'll share a story from Osho. Be a free man or woman. I'll share a story from a book from Osho. Okay? He's got a book called Freedom, The Courage to Be Yourself, I think it's called. A beautiful book. And he shares a story. I'm not going to do it any justice. He's a beautiful storyteller, Osho. But it goes something like this. He talks about a man in the past who was a free man, right? No one. He was a free man. And he used to walk around naked. He was handsome. He was a strong specimen. He'd walk around naked. At that time, people were getting sold as slaves in the marketplace. He was sitting by the riverbank, and a group of people who were literally kidnapping people to sell in the marketplace. He heard rustling in the bushes, and he noticed that there was a few people who were obviously creeping up on him. He stands up and he goes, "Come out, it's okay, what do you want me for?" And they said, we're going to get you, we're going to sell you at the marketplace. And he basically said, "Fine, let's go." And he said, so he's leading the way. Where are we going? Where's the marketplace? Let's go. So straight away, he's put doubt in the kidnappers' minds. All of a sudden, they're thinking, "Oh shit, what have we got here? Didn't expect this to happen." He's going, "Where is it? Show me where it is. I'll go." So he goes to the marketplace, and when he sees the high podium where people are getting sold, he says, "I'm going to sell for the most money that anyone's ever been sold for." So when it was his turn, he gets on stage and he's saying, "Keep the bids coming." And there was a royal or an emperor there, somebody who was high position with a lot of wealth, right? And he's going, "You keep going, blah, blah, blah." He's got these people bidding on him, right? He's totally in control of the situation. Long story short, this guy, who's the emperor or whatever he was, breaks the record, right? Pays the most money anyone's ever paid for a slave. He said, and the guy says, "I love this. I'm worth more than that. Anyway, let's go." He jumps in the horse and cart, and he's getting carted back to be a slave at this guy's castle, right? He turns around and he looks at him and he goes, "Do you realise the royal's wife is in the cart?" He said, "Do you realise that as soon as you leave your wife for 5 minutes, she's gonna come on to me?" And he said, "Ask her." And the guy looked at her. He didn't have to ask her because he knew by looking in her face that she was attracted to him. He said, "I'm in control of this situation." He said, "I'm going to take your wife when you're not round." He pulled the horse and carriage over and said, "Get out." And the guy walked free. And I share this story because freedom comes from within, okay? Don't buy into this fear. Be a free person. We have more power than what we know. And I tell you, if it worst case scenario becomes mandatory, let's just do it. Fuck it. And I'll lead. Or many people out there, many good people will lead. Don't wait for me. Do it yourself. Lead weekend workshops. Breathe, heavy breathing through the day. Do 4 hours in the morning if you want. Do a few hours in the afternoon. Drink your spirulina. Dump it out. Trampolining. Okay. Drain your lymphatic system. Use your mind. Visualize light flooding the body. And we'll nail it. Okay? Power's in our hands, people. We are the masses. I love you all very, very much. Take care. Bye-bye.